Rock and Sand Apologetics welcomes you to Bible Study 17 of the Lord of the Rings characters and character groups. This will be lesson 8 of the Friends of the Fellowship. Today, Eomer, Treacherous Loyalty. So let's get right to it. Say friend, and enter. I serve only the Lord of the Mark, Theoden, King of Thengol, answered Eomer. We do not serve the power of the Black Land far away, but neither are we yet at open war with him. And if you are fleeing from him, then you had best leave this land. There is trouble on all our borders, and we are threatened. But we desire only to be free and to live as we have lived, keeping our own and serving no foreign lord, good or evil. When I think of Eomer, I am reminded of the legends of the knights in many books. Lancelot, Gawain, King Arthur. The statement above is that Eomer is fiercely loyal to Theoden, king. Yet this is more of a political statement than his own, since we learn he is bravely disobeying King Theoden's edict about patrolling the land for orcs. He says his only desire is to be free, not choosing any foreign lord, good or evil. He is bound, however, by his own contempt and even loyalty to an end that cannot see freedom. Yet secretly he desires to side with that as good. If that were not cast as a case, he would not have disobeyed the king in order to protect him and his people. In his boasting, coupled with his belief and gossip, almost caused a fatal end for himself, and Gimli, and possibly others. Legolas was ready to strike the first blow against any who harmed Gimli. How do good warriors come to the same on the same side end up like this? When two fierce loyalties clash together, there is division. That's what we are seeing here. Eomer is loyal to King Theoden, king, but even more to the people of Rohan. He ends up trying to be on both sides of the fence. In this case, because he is divided himself. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli have traveled many miles and fought side by side, being loyal to one thing, that Frodo would have to have the time to travel through Mordor and unmake the Ring of Power. This loyalty is a higher loyalty than that of Eomer's. The words of Elrond echo in their ears. If I understand all that I have heard, I think that this task is appointed for you, Frodo, and that if you do not find a way, no one will. And so when he makes statements Against the Lady Galadriel, Gimli is first to offer up his defense, and Legolas protects his friend. And would have killed Eomer right in the spot were it not for Aragorn coming between them and telling them, if you would hear our tale, you would understand why they were upset about what you said. Would you not hear our tale? I will. We see Eomer comes to understand later, but now he seems to be sitting on a fence between good and evil, unsure of which course to take. Yet in his heart, he's already coming off the fence and joining the fellowship. But the enemy is trying to convince Eomer he to take another path. This reminds me of another story. There was a man who came to speak to Jesus at night. His name was Nicodemus, a ruler of the Pharisees. He came by night because he didn't want the other Pharisees to know what he was doing. He was trying to be impartial, not take sides, but in his heart he had already sided with his Messiah. In John chapter 3, we have an account of this marvelous encounter. Jesus did not ridicule him. He did not get angry with him as he had the other Pharisees. The reason Jesus did this was he saw the heart of Nicodemus, and it was bent towards God. So Jesus teaches him and takes time out to instruct the teacher of the law about the law he teaches. It is the only recorded time that Jesus does so. Nicodemus, like Eomer, had reason to be brash and proud. Their loyalty brought them into conflict with themselves and eventually others. For a time, Eomer was disfavored by Theoden king, and for a time, Nicodemus was disfavored by the other Pharisees. Yet, Eomer is listed as one of the valiant who fought on the field of Pelennor. So also Nicodemus is mentioned with reverence as one of the two men who retrieved the body of our Lord from the cross, the other being Joseph from Arimathea. What can we learn from Eomer is that it is dangerous to try to sit in the fence. Sooner or later we must choose a side. May we strive to keep our hearts soft before God, that our choices will always be for Him. For you see, it isn't just a one-time thing. Salvation is, but working that salvation out is a moment-by-moment affair. We can easily be swayed to compromise our belief and even our love for Jesus, and if we do not constantly keep choosing for Him, as did Nicodemus. For you see, it isn't just a one-time thing. Salvation is, but working that salvation out is a moment-by-moment affair. We can easily be swayed to compromise our belief and even our love for Jesus if we do not constantly keep choosing for Him, as did Eomer, as did Nicodemus, as did Mary Magdalene, as did Arwen. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission, so he came and took away his body. Nicodemus, who at first came to Jesus by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, weighing about 75 pounds. Then they took the body of Jesus and wrapped it in a linen cloth with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Jews. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden was a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. So because of the Jewish day of preparation, and because the tomb was nearby, they buried Jesus there. John 19:38-42.